Hello YouTube, my name is Transient Lion, and One Piece is my favorite show of all time. Uh, and I thought it was a crime that I didn't make a video about it yet. So, I'm just gonna jump into it with probably one of the most important aspects of the show. The Straw Hat Pirates themselves. And, I'm just going to rank them from my least favorite one to my favorite one. And, we're just gonna see how it goes. Before I begin, though, I apologize for all the fan noises. It's really hot in this room, and I can't. I can't just not have it on. And, another disclaimer. If your favorite Straw Hat is really low on the list, that is not a knock against you. This is my favorite main cast in any show I have ever seen, and I really like all of these characters. It's not going to be... Me having a character lower on the list than another one doesn't mean that they're like a bad character at all. Like, even the one I have at the bottom of the list is one that I hold dear to my heart in certain ways. So without further ado, let's get to number 10. Number 10 is Tony Chopper. And I know that Chopper has a lot of fans, but my real complaint with him is that just he peaked way too early in the series. Like after Enies Lobby, I think that his best moments are kind of behind him, because when he's introduced, he's so interesting. Like, you've never seen someone like him before in the series, and like he has such a ridiculously sad, tragic backstory, and it really does a good job making you care for him. And like in Alabasta, he's just kind of a part of the crew, which, you know what, that's fine. I liked the fight that he and Usopp had against Miss Merry Christmas and Mr. Four. That was a good fight. Then in Skypiea, he's like whatever, but then again, most of the things in that arc that aren't focusing on Eneru are just kind of whatever. And then Enies Lobby comes, and like the last moment that Chopper has that really blew me away as, wow, this is really cool, is when he goes into a Monster Point for the first time, and he wrecks Kumadori. And like, that moment was really cool. I really liked it. Honestly, nothing that he's done in the series after that really grabbed me that much. And I think that's sad, because he's very much a necessary part of the crew. I don't think that he doesn't belong or anything. I don't think any of these characters don't belong. But he's just, like, he's one of those Straw Hats that I mainly like when he's playing off of the others. So yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about him. And now it's time to lose a lot of you, because I don't know how to put this. Zoro's my second least favorite on the crew, and I'm not sorry for that. And I'm gonna try to tread carefully, because I know that Zoro is one of the most popular characters in the entire series, who's usually competing with Luffy for most popular character. And, yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to justify why he's so low on the list to a lot of people. And quite frankly, I think the main thing about him that doesn't super appeal to me is that a lot of how much you like the character is depending on how cool you think he is. And don't get me wrong, Zoro is incredibly cool. He does a lot of badass things throughout the entire show, and that's awesome. But, like, outside of that, I don't find too much that I find engaging with him. Like, sure, I care about seeing him beat Mihawk. I care about the weird relationship he has with Tashigi. I like the rivalry he has with Sanji, but aside from that, I don't really think that he's really that that interesting a character on his own. And like, I feel like part of that is, well, I mean, obviously everything is personal bias with opinions, stuff like this, but a, a lot of it is personal bias because I tend not to like more stoic characters very often. And Zoro is kind of that a lot of the time. Like, he has his silly moments. He's still a One Piece character, but like, he's he's definitely the like serious stoic badass that a lot of people fall way too in love with, if you ask me. And I'm not gonna lie, his rabid, eccentric fan base does kind of rub me the wrong way sometimes. I'm not going to bring it up too much because, I mean, like, it's no big deal if you like a character that much. Sure, I can find the hero worship a little annoying, but if that's really how you feel about the character, that's not a bad thing at all. Um, but yeah, I think I've talked about him for a little too long, so let's get to number 8. Number 8 is Jinbei, and it's basically just because he hasn't got as much screen time as a lot of the other Straw Hats. Like, not only does he actually join the crew very, very late in the show, um, but he's introduced pretty late too. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the things that he did make the arcs that he's in a lot better. Like, I thought it was really cool how for Impel Down and Marineford, Luffy and the other people in the immediate group were teaming up with an ex-warlord to like try and free Ace. And I also thought it was really cool how Jinbei was the one who was there for Luffy when he was mind broken after after Ace died. He was the one who reminded Luffy that he still had things to fight for in life, and that's really cool. I really like that. I also think that Jinbei's fighting style is awesome. Just, like, you don't see a lot of characters that mess around with water, uh, and like, sure, it's still a fishman. That's a little generic for a fishman, but generic isn't necessarily that bad. I still think that a lot of the things Zoro does is really cool, despite his fighting style being mostly generic, aside from the, like, weirdness that is the sword sticking out of his mouth. Uh, you get used to that after a while, though. I should stop talking about Zoro. This is about Jinbei. And, one thing that really, really annoys me about Jinbei is something that annoys me. It's something that annoys a lot of people about this character, and it's just that he doesn't... He takes so long to join the crew after Luffy first offers. And I get it, like... when Luffy first offers on Fishman Island, and Jinbei's like, "Alright, yeah, I want to join, but I have to make sure the Fishman Island is doing good." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I guess we'll see him again." But then we don't see him again until Whole Cake Island, which is like over 150 episodes later. And yeah, Jinbei has a prominent role on that. But then at the end of that arc, he ditches, which, I mean, okay. But then he rejoins in Wano, and it's like, yeah, that's cool. It's satisfying to see him finally be a part of the crew again, and I'm assuming after this arc he's staying on the ship. But, like, there's so much time where this character is off-screen, and it just kind of annoys me when I just wanted to see him join. A lot of people just wanted to see him join, but hey, that part is behind us now. He's on the crew, and that's good to hear. And honestly, I think him being a newcomer and, like, trying to get used to seeing how the Straw Hats are working off each other is pretty good. It's pretty funny. Like, especially since he doesn't know that Zoro isn't going to isn't going to mediate with Luffy and is instead going to make things worse on Onigashima. Really fun. Um, but yeah, I have a lot, like, I had a lot more to say about him than I thought. This is going to be a really long video, holy shit. But, yeah. Number 7 is Brook. And Brook is awesome. Like, I don't need to say that. Like, he brings a lot of flavor to the crew, and the crew already had a lot of flavor to begin with, but, like, he's a comedy relief in a lot of ways that, that Usopp isn't. Like, Usopp's comic relief in the way that he's like a scaredy cat and he's a liar and stuff like that, and I like that fine, but, like, Brook is just a straight up jokester, and he also has this air of suave elegance to him up until he asks a woman if he can see her panties. Or makes a goofy skull joke. And sure, those get repetitive after a while, but, like, that's not a problem if you ask me. But, like, I don't know, I think that he's really entertaining to watch, and I like it when characters, can pull off doing pretty goofy things, and still be taken seriously, because back during Thriller Bark, seeing his backstory, it was really, really touching. Well, I mean, it was heartbreaking, it wasn't touching. Like, touching implies it was a positive experience, but no, that was very sad. Like, seeing them get lost in the Florian Triangle, and slowly everyone dying around them as they're all playing Bing Sake, and less voices are in on the song, and it's just, God, just rips at the heartstrings. I fucking love it. But yeah, I feel like Brook didn't get to do a lot for a while, and Whole Cake Island really, really saved a lot of that, because he does a lot of shit. He actually fights Big Mom and does decently. He's the one who smashes the portrait of Mother Caramel, and he does a lot of other stuff in that arc. It's really fun to watch that. And you know what? It's nice to see that without Zoro, the other without Zoro getting a lot of the fights, the other Straw Hats that I like more than him get more time to shine. Alright, it's not just Zoro, I'll admit that, but, you know, still really fun to see other Straw Hats get really cool moments like that. I also really like how his powers are weird and, like, tied together. Well, obviously, every character that has a devil fruit has their powers tied together with a theme. And what I'm saying is Brook's theme is really interesting and provides a lot of really varied abilities that, yeah, they make sense. I also like how he's music themed and a rock star, so that's cool. But yeah, anyway, the next one up, because I forget what number I was on, is Frankie. Now, Frankie is the weirdest member of the crew, and that's especially interesting because they have a fishman, a skeleton, and a reindeer, and a shape-shifting reindeer on the crew. And yet it's the cyborg who's the weirdest character, and I love every second of how weird he is. Like, I've loved this guy's energy from moment one, and, yeah, like a lot of people, I didn't like the redesign at first. I thought it was really weird looking, and thinking back on it now, of course it's weird looking, it's Frankie, he's gonna make himself look weird. But, like, it's also really big. He's also, like, very obviously the big guy of the group, which, I mean, like, now is very obvious with how physically big he is, but still, I like that. Um, but yeah, like, just a lot of his personality quirks are really, really weird and interesting, and I forget this all the time, but he actually does have a really sad backstory. Like, just thinking about him trying to physically stop the C train from leaving and getting run over, that's fucked up. Plus, Tom getting killed like that. Weirdly enough, though, it's one of the tragic backstories I don't think about very often on the crew. I don't know, like, I guess I have a lot of mixed feelings about Frankie, because, like, a, a lot of the things he does are really funny, and he has some decent fights, but, like, I also don't really think about I don't really think about his backstory or motivations very often, and that's just because, well, all he wants to do is make a boat and sail it to the end of the sea. And, like, that's fine. It just doesn't really stand out that much. Uh, Hate to leave it on that note, but the next number up is Nami. And, and, I honestly don't see Nami as huge a waifu as a lot of people do. Like, I totally get it. Like, believe me. But, like, honestly, and this is where things get incredibly subjective. I don't blame you if you disagree with what I'm about to say, but honestly, her redesign is a little too over-sexualized for me. Like, I don't really... I don't really like how she looks, like, entirely anymore. I definitely preferred how she looked pre-time skip a lot more. Oh yeah, nice. But I promise I like her for more reasons than her attractiveness. It's just, I tend to notice that first with female characters. Um, but yeah, like, Nami's story is very interesting, and, you do get to see a lot of the pain and suffering she went through her childhood, and, like, everything about her past makes me hate Arlong so much. Like, he's he caused such a sweet and innocent girl so much pain, at to the point where she'd literally rather stab her shoulder than fucking have a tattoo of his insignia on her. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, that's horrible. But, like, it makes me feel so much better when the crew finally goes to help her. And seeing, like, the development she got on Fishman Island was really, really heartwarming. Because, like, she has the chance to look at Jinbei and be like, no, I don't forgive you. I went through hell because you fucked up. And instead, she's just like, no, that's in the past now. You're not, you don't have any hold over what Arlong was going to do. I don't blame you. And that's that's a really nice moment. The only thing that I don't like about Nami's character is that I want her to get more fights. Like, seriously, after Khalifa, she just doesn't get any fights. And, I mean, technically she gets one on Fishman Island, but that doesn't count. Like, I'm really hoping that, okay, I want to clarify, I am an anime-only viewer, so if this has happened, I'm, just know that if this has happened in the manga, I don't know about it yet, so if you're commenting, please don't spoil Wano for me, I love this arc, but, like, I'm really hoping that for Wano, she and Ulti actually do have, like, a real fight where, like, Nami ends up winning, because that would be cool. I like that. I want to see Nami fight more. She has really awesome powers. Like, her weather powers are some of the most unique and cool in the entire show. It sucks that they don't get used for an actual fight more. And look, I get it. Not every member of the Straw Hat crew is, like, a fighter. but also they all have powers and can fight, and this is a battle shonen, so, you know, kind of a thing that I want. But yeah, anyway, on to another potentially controversial spot. But the next number up is Luffy. I don't even know where to begin with him, honestly, because, like, this character has led me through such an incredible journey that I don't even really know how to describe it. Um, but I will say, he's, I like how he's different from other shonen protagonists in the mere factor that he is very emotionally intelligent. He knows people. He can read people really well, and he works off of that really, really well. And I think that's really cool. I also like how creative he gets with his, frankly, very off-the-wall abilities. Like, I didn't think that you could push I am made of rubber this far, but, like, he does, and it's really compelling to see him come up with new techniques all the time. But yeah, I also like just how much he, like, he does develop, and it's very subtle. It's kind of like Goku's character development. It's very subtle, but it really happens. And, like, seeing him actually become a really good leader in Wano is really compelling, and I really like it. And I'm looking forward to see how much more he grows over the course of the series. It's really fun to watch. But yeah, I guess that's another thing. He's also just a silly dude. Like, I like his ideals, I like his attitude, and I like his powers and personality and stuff. Just, I'm being a little vague, but I don't want to run the timer too badly, because I don't know when my phone's gonna stop recording. Anyway, number 3 is Robin. And, I'm just gonna say this. Robin is the hottest character in the show. I don't care. You can fight me all you want on that, at Nami fans. Robin is best girl, and I will hear no difference about it. But yeah, I guess to counteract my my complete waifu obsession with her, I'll start off with the one negative I have, and that she doesn't get any goddamn fights! Why does Oda seem to never want to give her any actual fights? After Yama, she doesn't get anybody. She has one fight in the whole series. Well, as a Straw Hat, and I hate that. I want her to get more fights. Her powers are awesome. But I guess it's kind of hard to work with her powers. I don't know. I just give her more fights, Oda. Anyway, like, Enies Lobby is one of the best arcs in the entire series, and it's entirely because Robin is the entire emotional center of this arc. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I've cried to I Want to Live. Like, that is one of the defining moments in the entire series, and I fucking love it. And I like how she's very plot relevant. Like, she seems like she's not very important when she's introduced, but, like, as the series goes on and you realize how important poneglyphs are, you're realizing just how fucked the Straw Hats would be without Robin. And it's like, yeah, that's incredible. I like that a lot. So, like, I will say that even though she's not, like, super big on the fighting aspect of the show, she is very much important to the plot, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, on to number 2. Number 2 is Sanji, and I love this dude. Like, you can probably guess from how I initially started talking about Nami and Robin that I appreciate a character who loves the ladies as much as I do. Like, I can't help it. I relate a lot to this guy. And, yeah. I also think that his fighting style is really cool, and he has a lot of good character development over the course of later series actually. Like, post time skip, I felt like Sanji hadn't gotten much time to grow as a person, which is interesting because he's supposed to kind of be a more flat character who's just like, he's pervy, but he's also got a heart of gold, which I like that about him. Like, he's not Master Roshi, who's pervy and gross. Like, I like Master Roshi fine, but sometimes he's a little, he gets a little uncomfortable. But Sanji is actually really chivalrous about his perviness, and I like that a lot. Um, but yeah, like, his entire arc on Whole Cake Island is really, really compelling, and like, I don't think it's as good as Robin's, but I feel like the like kind of torment they put him through, and the like dilemma that they have him face, and as much of a character as he grows into after it, I think that it's what makes Whole Cake Island one of the best arcs in the entire show. I just wish it wasn't called Whole Cake Island, because that makes people think it's very silly and dumb. And I mean, it is very silly and dumb in a lot of ways, but I mean, eh. One Piece is kind of silly and dumb in a lot of ways. But yeah, um, anybody who knows what the crew is made out of probably can guess that Usopp is the best character in the entire show, and I will not compromise on that. I love this guy so much. He, like, everything about this character is amazing. Alright, okay, I should stop being vague and start being a bit more specific. So, yeah, I always relate to the cowardly weakling in shonen series. Like, Krillin is my favorite Dragon Ball character, and Usopp is my favorite One Piece character for a lot of the same reasons. Plus, Usopp has some of the best character development in the entire series. Um, like, the moment in Arlong Park where he's playing dead and Chu's about to walk away, and Usopp's brushing dirt on himself, trying to make up a lie, like, oh yeah, I almost died, but I'm gonna tell them that I put up a good fight, and then he's realizing, what the hell am I doing? If I, like, these guys are out here risking their lives for Nami. I care about Nami. If I, like, the thing that sticks with me this whole time is, if I can't do as much as they can, then I don't even belong on the same crew as them. Like, that moment is one of my favorite moments in the entire show. And Usopp keeps having more and more defining moments after this. Throughout consistently throughout practically every arc he's in. Like, the fight against Mr. 4 is really cool. Okay, he doesn't do a lot on Skypiea, but the fucking heartbreaking character arc he goes throughout the entire Enies Lobby saga, the like iconicness that is Soga King, his fight against Perona on Thriller Bark, a lot of the cool things that he does. So yeah, a lot of the cool things that he does throughout the first three arcs of the first two arcs of the post-time skip era. And then there's just the God Usopp moment, which, I mean, I fucking loved that. I could probably rant about why I like this character for a while, but I think I'm done here. So, thank you guys for watching this. If you agree or disagree, I'd like to hear about it. Place your own personal rankings in the comments below. I would love to hear this because I love One Piece, and don't let anybody say that your opinion is wrong. Have a nice day.